Hello, everybody, and welcome to the official podcast of the Fleming Film Awards. Today, we are going to be talking about the 2007 Best Animated Feature winner, Ratatouille. And joining me today is a video store reject and film nerd himself, Cody House. Hello, Cody.
Hey, Robbie, thanks for having me on your official podcast. I've been on your videos quite a bit, but it's awesome to be part of the podcast as well.
Thank you, thank you. The reason why I decided to talk about Ratatouille is for a really weird reason. Are you ready to hear this?
Yeah, what is the reason you wanted to chat about Ratatouille?
Basically, Elemental is coming out soon. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's June for you and July for me.
Okay, yeah, it's coming out Day weekend here, which is pretty packed weekend for movies because we got The Flash and Wes Anderson's new film in limited release.
Makes sense why they probably pushed it back in the UK.
Probably.
Yes. But I found out that the director is a man called Peter Son,
Oh, for Elemental, yes.
and
Yes.
he is the voice of Emile in Ratatouille.
Yes, that's correct. Yes. That happens quite a bit for some of the minor characters sometimes that an animator will voice one of the characters in a Pixar film. So they're not always celebrities.
He also was voiced in The Incredibles as the Mugger.
Okay.
He's also Swishy in Monsters University.
That makes sense.
And he's the director of The Good Dinosaur, which is my least favorite Pixar film.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the more forgettable ones. It's not a bad movie, but the Good Dinosaur and Ratatouille actually have a lot in common, that they both dealt with production problems. It's just Ratatouille ended up being a better result than what happened with the Good Dinosaur.
Yes, yes. Before we dive into talking about the movie, I have a question to ask you. So I gave it Best Animated Feature in 2007. It was a really hard decision for me at the time because I was picking these myself, and it between this or the Simpsons movie. But I picked Ratatouille because it felt more like a movie.
Uh, if that was the two you were choosing from, I'd say you made the right choice.
Yes, yes, definitely. But now I've seen it, Persepolis from one that's from France would have probably put a more competition now.
Oh, for sure, that's a beautiful film. It's really amazing, great animation. The graphic novel is also amazing as well, which it's based off of.
Yes, yes. I was telling a work colleague about it because she's into anime.
Oh yeah, that definitely would be a recommendation, even though it's a different style of animation.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Although I will say, when I was doing the voice acting ones, Patton Oswalt lost to Albert Brooks.
In 2000,
And seven, yeah.
did Albert Brooks reprise his character from The Simpsons? What animated movie was he in?
He was in the Simpsons movie, but he was playing like an executive. He was part of the government who was trying to destroy Springfield.
Uh huh.
And he has a great voice. I can't deny that.
Yes, he does.
But
Yes,
it
Albert
just
Brooks is a.
with a pattern, I feel like he has a lot of charm when he's voicing Remy.
I mean, that's one of the best casted roles, animated voice wise, to me. That's like perfect casting, them getting Patton Oswalt to be Remy. Well, Persepolis lost at the Oscars to Ratatouille because it was one
Yes.
of the three nominees. It was between that and Surf's Up, which I've never seen that.
I've seen Surf's Up. It's funny, it's entertaining, it does its job, but it's not like Ratatouille or Persepolis that feel like a amazing work of art.
Right.
Definitely. So I invited you on this show because to talk about Ratatouille because I know you have a really good love for this movie.
Yeah, I absolutely love this movie. I don't know if it's my favorite Brad Bird movie, but I think it's probably the one I've watched the most because it's kind of become a comfort watch in our house.
Yes.
It's it has that rewatchability, but it also has like that warm security blanket type of movie where you just want to. It's just that kind of movie you can just put on and watch or put on in the background, and then you get lost while you're trying to do something else, but you end up watching the movie anyways. But Brad Bird's got to be one of the best directors of animation, and he's responsible for 3 of the greatest animated movies of all time.
Is that Incredibles, Incredibles 2, and Ratatouille?
No, that would be Ratatouille, The Incredibles, and The Iron Giant. I like The Incredibles too, but it's nowhere near as good as those other 3 films.
I prefer Incredibles 2 to The Iron Giant. I need to rewatch The Iron Giant, but that is a good film.
Oh, it's a great movie. Maybe one of the last great 2D animated films. And also, if you learn about
In the Western world, right, there have been some good anime films in the 2000s.
for sure, but yeah, definitely an American 2D animated film.
Yeah.
But if you learn kind of the backstory of how that story came to be and what the movie's about, you'll have a more emotional connection with it.
Definitely. I can see why. Michael, is this Michael Giacchino's first Pixar film?
Oh, that's a good question. Because he did score. He has scored quite a bit of those, hasn't he?
No, The Incredibles is his first one.
Yeah, of course. Because yeah, that's a great score.
Yes, because I do like his score in Ratatouille a lot.
Oh yeah, I love his score in this movie. It's really fun. It's very European. He gets the French flavor of the Parisian mood and the artistry of what people think of when they think of Paris.
Yeah, this would definitely be. I didn't pick this for best score. I picked Hot Fuzz in the end, but this would be a close second. Because I like how the score in Hot Fuzz really elevates the action.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a great movie.
Definitely, that was my favorite movie of 2007.
I mean, 2007 is a great year for cinema. I mean, people don't really talk about it as much as something like 1999, but 2007. So you mentioned we're talking Ratatouille, Hot Fuzz, of course, No Country for Old Men, and There Will Be Blood.
Yes, and Persepolis.
Persepolis, Juno, Zodiac.
Movie.
I mean, if you like the Simpsons movie that much, okay, we'll put it in the same breath as all these other movies.
Yeah, don't you like the Simpsons movie, Cody?
It's fine. It's fine. It's better than I thought it was gonna be, but I don't think it's as good as, say, the South Park movie.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. No, not in the same breath. Not in the same breath. We also have Lou Romero, I think he's also a Pixar employee as well. So I've seen his name a couple of times.
The guy who voices Linguini?
Yes, Alfredo Linguini.
Yeah, he's an animator as well. Yeah.
Yes, so it's just Ian Holm, Brian Dennehy, Peter O'Toole, Brad Garrett, Jareen Garofalo, and Will Arnett, who are actual actors.
Oh, well, don't forget John Ratzenberg.
And John Ratzenberger. Oh, James Remar.
Who's he voice? Does he voice one of the other chefs?
Yeah, he voices one of the other chefs.
I wonder which chef he voices.
It's LaRousse. I'm Googling him now as we speak.
Because
I
I'm
think
like, which one?
I don't know whether he's the bold one who has like a sinister like past, or
Oh,
whether
the guy that ran the resistance
yeah. So I know Will Arnett is the one that killed a man with a thumb.
with
Oh no,
this thumb, or robbed
oh
a
no,
bank with a ballpoint pen.
yeah. Oh, Larisse is the one that got banned from Las Vegas and Monte Carlo.
Okay, the guy who got banned from gambling. He's gambling. Well,
Yeah,
I did not know that was James Remar. I guess that's some great voice acting from him.
definitely. Definitely. I'll tell you who is really good in this, Janine Garofalo. I keep forgetting she's an underrated actress.
Janine Garofalo is amazing. Not only is she one of the best comedians of her era, but she's a great voice actress. Not just in this one, but she also does the American dub of Kiki's Delivery Service as the artist lady Kiki lives with for a little while.
Nice. No, I've seen her in a lot of stuff. I think, yeah, Mystery Men would probably be her best.
Mystery Men is a very good movie. You should check out The Truth About Cats and Dogs. It's a romantic comedy with her and Uma Thurman.
Sounds quite good.
Yeah, it's pretty good for a 90s rom-com.
I've seen Realty Bites.
Yeah, Reality Bites is good. She's got a smaller role in that because that's mostly Winona Ryder, Ben Stiller, and Ethan Hawke.
And they made a good trio in that movie.
Yeah, yeah. Ben Stiller, underrated director himself.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. It's weird that he's never done a Pixar movie.
Yeah, that is weird that they haven't tapped him to voice some character in a Pixar film yet, but I, I don't. And maybe he doesn't have interest, or maybe they just haven't found the role that fits him.
No, no, I can't see Ben Stiller suiting any like character that they've had in the past. Yeah. So, which legend do you want to talk about first? Ian, Brian, or Peter?
I mean, let's get Peter O'Toole out of the way because I mean, I think that's like one of the best portrayals of a critic put on film, honestly.
Yes, definitely.
And his review is correct. You know, critics don't often take risk in their career. They not that there's anything wrong with critics, but you know, they're basically whatever they're reviewing, whatever art they're reviewing, whether it be film, theater, television, literature, music, or food, because food is an art form.
Oh, definitely, it is.
And that's one of the things I love about this movie is not that it's also a celebration of food and the joy of cooking and the love of food, but also the love of art and creating art. And yeah, it's right. Critics don't risk anything. They give their judgment on something, whether they deem it good or bad. And, you know, they're basing someone's life work on that, their blood, sweat, and tears. But critics can also do good because if a critic brings attention to a young new artist or just a new artist no one's heard of, it can give them popularity or notoriety. I mean, Siskel and Ebert helped a lot of up and coming filmmakers get attention by liking their movies.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Also, Anton Ego has one of the best lines in the movie, period. When Linguini says, "Well, you're pretty thin for someone who likes food," and he's like, "I don't like food. I love it. And if I don't love it, I don't swallow."
that is a
It's a
great.
great line.
That is a brilliant line. And I feel like Peter O'Toole was the right person to voice Anton.
Yeah, you want if he's supposed to be like this notorious critic who strikes fear into people, you want an actor who has this sort of reputation and majesty, a little bit hoity-toity. And you know, Peter O'Toole was one of the greatest actors that ever lived.
He's the greatest to never win an Oscar, isn't he?
He's got to be up there if he's not number one, and that's crazy that he never won an Oscar.
Well, I'm still doing the 60s Fleming Awards, so maybe he might win for Lawrence of Arabia when we get to 62.
Oh, he lost to Gregory Peck for To Kill a Mockingbird. I mean, what are you going to do? That's like a performance of a lifetime there.
I'll have to watch both of them before I do the 62 Flemings.
Have you never seen either movie?
No, I haven't seen either movie.
Oh, wow. I mean, I've seen both. They're both great. It's been a while since I've seen Lawrence of Arabia. I sadly have not seen enough David Lean movies. That is a director I'm sadly lacking
I've
on.
only just started getting into him.
Well, that's one of your boys' favorite directors, Christopher Nolan.
It is. And the BAFTA Best Director Award was named after him for a while.
Yeah. I mean, he's considered cinema royalty in your country. Well, in any country, he's considered one of the greatest directors ever.
Definitely. But acting wise, yeah, we have I wouldn't really call Brian Dennehy one of the greatest, but definitely Ian Holm.
Well, Brian Dennehy was a very good actor. He was a solid character actor. He often played heavies, not just because of his size and
he's
stature.
Brilliant in Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, he's a very good, and he was a stage actor as well. I believe he played Willie Loman in a production of Death of a Salesman. But yeah, Ian Holm, also brilliant actor. I mean, talk about a resume. And he's kind of playing a Napoleon-like figure again here as the chef at Gusteau's.
Oh, a man with short man syndrome.
Yeah, because I believe he played Napoleon a number of times. I know he played him in Time Bandits, but I think he played him in something else as well.
I think so.
But yeah, casting him in this role, you get that kind of brevity and bravo you wouldn't get from another actor. Like
when he's doing the French accent, he doesn't try and do it stereotypically either.
No, he's not going ho ho ho. You know, he's just being a character with. It is a French accent, but he's just playing the character. But I gotta say, these Garofalo, Holm, they're doing really good French accents. I mean, Brad Garrett as Gusteau is a little more stereotypical.
Yeah.
Of what non-French people think French people sound like.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
But the best actor who is great with his voice in this cast has to be Mr. Will Arnett. I've seen him voice BoJack for years, and I love the way how he uses his voice to transform into all these different characters.
Yeah, I don't think he gets enough credit as a voice actor because, yeah, not just BoJack, not just here. Of course, he's also Lego Batman. You know.
Yeah, exactly. I want him in the Mario universe as a voice actor.
I still have yet to see the Mario movie, so
it's probably still showing if they're still making money.
Yeah, it probably is, but I'm probably gonna go see Spider-Verse if I go see anything this weekend.
Yeah, I might see that on Tuesday. So I like the story to this a lot.
Oh, I love the story to this movie. Like I was saying, you know, it's a celebration of art and, you know, creating and making art because cooking is an art form. And if you want to compare it to like an art form, the thing I always like to say, and I'm sure someone has compared this before, is baking is like classical music, right? You got to stick to your recipes. You got to stick to the rules of what you're making. But cooking is jazz music. And you see that in this movie with Remy creating and changing the recipes when he's in the kitchen.
Yes, definitely. Oh, and the weirdest thing is that I don't like rats. I'm like Dr. Jones Jr. I can't be near them.
That's senior. Indiana.
Yes,
Indiana doesn't
Dr.
like
Jones.
snakes.
Yeah, Dr. Jones Senior.
I mean, I don't think most people like rats, even though there are domesticated rats you can have as pets. But
Yes,
I think that's the point, right? This is Remy is so charming, and it's a rat that can cook. You get past and plus it's an animated cute rat. Because I mean, animation has a obsession with rodents as their protagonists.
yes, definitely. And I also see that they're not like that. You do like see the advantages of rats as well.
Yeah, you get to see like the inner workings of what a day in the life of a rat is in this movie, and that they have to scavenge and kind of look for things to eat because, they want to avoid humans because obviously humans are going to try and kill them.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know what I also found out?
What's that?
Ratatouille was nominated for Best Original Screenplay.
At what awards? The Oscars?
The Oscars, yeah.
What did it lose to? Because I know it adapted, I think, went to No Country, right? And it
Uh,
would lose to Juno,
it lost
right?
to Juno. I'm a little bit annoyed Hot Fuzz was never nominated for Best Original Screenplay.
Yeah, it should have gotten a screenplay nomination. Um, that makes sense that Juno won. It was a very kitschy, popular film, and it's got great dialogue. And
And
sometimes
it, and
that's
it
what
and it touches on a deep issue.
it does touch on a deep issue that still works to this day. And it's a great movie. I love Juno, and I think
Yeah.
Diablo Cody's a great screenwriter.
She's a very good screenwriter. She's a very good screenwriter indeed. I never want a sequel to this film.
No, please, Pixar, do not make a sequel to Ratatouille. I know that because when Disney bought you, that's part of your contracted deal to make your original movies is you got to make sequels. But no, we don't need a sequel to Ratatouille at all.
Yeah. And speaking of in recent years, this was parodied in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes, it was as Ratatouille, which I think is another reason why they chose a rat. Because if you look, a raccoon is a little too large to be on a human's head, whereas a rat weighs practically nothing. So it's a little easier to hide a rat. You can't really hide a raccoon.
Yeah.
But did you know that the voice of the raccoon in Everything Everywhere All at Once was Randy Newman?
Yes, yes, I know. I could tell by his voice. The bloke's got an iconic voice.
Yeah, and he's even singing like with the song sounds like a Randy Newman Pixar song.
Literally, it's funny that he doesn't do the music for this movie.
Well, he can't do them all.
No, he's quite. It looks like he doesn't just do Pixar movies. He does his own albums. He does it. He does other movies.
Yeah. He was a bit of a musician rock star back in the day.
Yeah, I can imagine he probably was quite popular. Because every time I hear one of his songs, I just think He's got to be one of the greatest songwriters of all time.
I mean, if he had done nothing but the music for Toy Story, he would already be in that book.
Yes, yes. Uh, a lot of people on YouTube claim Ratatouille as the magnum opus of Pixar movies. Would you agree with that?
Hmm. Is it the best Pixar movie? I don't know if it's the best. That might be Wall-E if we're talking like a technically well-made film.
I can see that more with Wally.
But probably it's going more to what I was saying earlier, is that this is probably one people love to watch a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's kind of become like this favorite. Like,
yes, because it took me a lot of watches to actually think, oh, Wally's actually a good movie, whereas Ratatouille, I knew it was a good movie when I first watched it.
yeah, and like I said, it's a comfort movie, and a lot of people are gonna put something they love to watch over and over again and say it's a great, but it is a great movie. Like, it's not a lesser Pixar film. It's still a wonderful movie. But
definitely not.
I don't know if I could declare it a magnum opus. It may be my favorite Brad Bird movie, though.
It'd be my second, with number one being Incredibles.
I mean, that makes sense. The Incredibles is such a great movie.
Yeah.
It's the best Fantastic Four movie that's ever been made.
Definitely. So, I don't know whether you knew this, but during the 2000s in the UK releases, they would get a famous British celebrity to voice a minor character in an animated movie.
Yeah,
And
I didn't know that.
And in the UK version of Ratatouille, the health inspector is voiced by the chef Jamie Oliver.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. That's interesting that they would do that because it's in the same language, you know?
Yeah, they used to do it all the time. When Shrek 2, the TV presenter Jonathan Ross voices the ugly stepsister. It on the Netflix version in the US, it's in the UK, it's still Larry King, but yeah, on the DVD, it's Jonathan Ross, and his voice like doesn't sounds very distracting.
So if you watch this on Disney Plus, is it the chef guy or is it the US version?
I have no idea. I literally can't tell the difference.
Okay.
Because
Well, I
I
mean,
think Jamie Oliver was actually trying to voice act, not just talk his normal voice, because he has a really like proper like London accent.
well, that's good then. That way, if you're watching, you can't tell because that's wild that they did that. I
Yeah.
guess maybe to get UK citizens to watch the movie. I don't know. I feel like you guys would have went and watched a Pixar movie regardless of who's voicing it.
I went to see this. I just love Pixar. I try and keep up to date with all their movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in Seoul, they actually had Graham Norton, the Eurovision presenter, actually voice an actual character. And it was nice actually seeing a UK celebrity voice an actual character to be in the US one as well.
Oh, okay. Who did he voice in Soul?
He voiced the hippie bloke.
Oh, right. Yeah, the sign guy that was like able to go to the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, he was quite a fun character. I liked him.
Mm-hmm. You could argue that Pete Docter is also probably one of the greatest directors of animation.
He would be my second favorite of all time.
It'd be nice for him to direct at least one more movie so he can have at least as many films as John Lasseter directed.
How many did Lasseter do?
I believe Lasseter directed 5. He did the first 2 Toy Stories, A Bug's Life, and the first 2 Cars.
That makes sense. That makes sense. She's gone on to Apple now.
Yes, he's over at Blue Sky now. Yeah.
Wait, Blue Sky are owned by Apple now?
Well, I don't know if they're owned by Apple, but that's the movie either he directed or was involved in went to Apple.
Is that the one with Simon Pegg as the cat?
I guess I forget. I've even forgot what the title of that movie was.
think it was called Luck.
I think you're right. That is the name
Yeah.
of it.
I saw clips of it when there was kids like watching it in the cinema, but I didn't get around to seeing it, so I don't have Apple TV.
I did not watch it. I don't think it. If it went to cinemas in the U.S., it wasn't in cinemas very long.
Nice. Would you like to see Brad Bird do another Pixar movie?
I would like to see Brad Bird do anything he wants, and I'm happy that he's making Ray Gun finally, which is, I believe, a passion project of his. But
Would you have had him direct another Mission Impossible movie?
I mean, that would be fine, but I think Christopher McQuarrie is a better suited director for the Mission Impossible franchise.
Even though De Palma's the best one out of all four of them, or five of them.
As like the best director? Or are you saying Mission Impossible, the original Mission Impossible, is still the best film in the
No, I'm just
series?
saying De Palma as a director in general.
I mean, Diploma is the best director if we're gonna rank these five guys that have worked on the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah.
But I think McQuarrie is probably the best for a Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah. Did you see Tomorrowland?
Yeah, I actually like Tomorrowland. I don't think it's a bad movie. I know there's that whole weird stuff between George Clooney and the robot girl, but I really enjoyed Tomorrowland overall as a movie. And I wouldn't mind if Brad Bird went back to a live action. I know it flopped, so that's why he ended up doing Incredibles 2.
Yeah, I wasn't big on Tomorrowland.
Well, I don't think it's bad. I kind of liked it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm not stopping anybody from liking it.
It should be on Disney Plus. I don't know why it's not on Disney Plus.
It's on Disney Plus in the UK.
Maybe it finally. I don't know. There's a lot of weird Disney movies that have not made it to Disney Plus.
Oh my god, I just found out that there is a Ratatouille musical made by
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah, they did it during the pandemic.
That'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, Tomorrowland is not streaming on Disney Plus here in the United States.
And there's also a Disney ride.
I didn't know that, but I mean that makes sense that Disney would have made a ride off of this movie.
It's in the Paris one.
That makes even more sense. Yeah, that there's a Ratatouille ride in Paris. Yeah, Euro Disney.
Yeah. I also think this film has a good opening shot.
Oh man, that's a great opening shot with the freeze frame of Remy out the window with the book being shot at. Yeah, it's great. Like I said, I think that was perfect casting getting Patton Oswalt for this character because he's a bit of a foodie himself in real life.
Nice.
So,
is it safe to say that this film was my introduction to Patton Oswalt?
I mean, that's fine if that was your introduction to Patton Oswalt. I mean, I don't think he was a huge celebrity before then. He was fairly well-known stand-up comedian, and he had been a reoccurring character, I believe, on a sitcom called The King of Queens, and had popped up in movies here or there in small roles, but mostly people who follow. Yes, he's in Blade Trinity, which he has a whole funny. I think he's done a whole stand-up thing about working on that movie and Wesley Snipes' behavior while they were making that movie.
Is that why the film was so bad?
Probably that's a big portion of it. I think also we're living in a day and age at that time where they thought you could only do 3 movies in a franchise and that was it. So everyone, and it depends on your level of how much you like or don't like Ryan Reynolds also.
I like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, but some people don't. Some people find him annoying.
I don't find him annoying. I think he's fun.
He's fine. I think he's suited for Deadpool, but I don't know if his shtick works in every movie he's in.
Fair enough. So, did you want to talk about anything else about this movie?
Oh man, what else to talk about this amazing, amazing movie? The food looks great in this movie.
It
Like,
does. It does.
even though it's computer generated, like it makes you hungry, right? Like you want to eat everything they're eating in this movie.
Yes, yes. And you gotta love the scene where he eats the ratatouille for the first time and he remembers him as a boy eating it.
All right, he has a childhood flashback, which that's what great food does, right? It some of our best memories are meals we had or meals we shared with people or conversations we had with someone over a very good meal. Like food is powerful.
Yes.
And I think this movie does that. It explains to us like how important and powerful food can be to people.
Yeah, it's just a shame at the end Skinner kind of wins because he gets the restaurant shut down.
He does get Gusteau's restaurant shut down, but Remy gets to continue cooking because Ego opens his own restaurant.
And Ego is his financer.
There you go. And doesn't mind that a rat's cooking because he finally understands what anyone can cook means.
Yes.
Which is also a great sentiment. I mean, not literally that.
Ego is the secret protagonist of the film, and it's about him learning how to enjoy food better.
Yeah, because, you know, I don't really pay for the philosophy of wanting to dislike things. I
No,
want to like everything that I watch or read or listen to. And it's fine if I don't like something, but I don't want to say something snarky or nasty about something I don't like, you know? Because there's a lot of people making a movie's hard work, and no one sets out to make a bad movie. It just
no,
happens
definitely,
sometimes.
definitely not. Well, didn't Adam Sandler and Kevin James had a competition about who could make the worst film?
Okay, maybe they wanted to purposely make a movie, and I know Adam Sandler threatened to make the worst movie ever if he didn't get nominated for an Oscar.
Why
But
hasn't why hasn't he done that yet?
I don't know. I mean, does he need to? I mean, he's fine. Adam Sandler's fine. But yeah, I love the sentiment about anyone can cook because that means a great artist can come from anywhere. You know, you don't have to be like trained or come from a certain upbringing. If you
No.
have the passion and talent, it can come from anywhere.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Since I've been living here, I kind of became my own little cook in my own way. I'd hate to do it as a job, but I love
Oh, I
it
would
for myself.
definitely so much stress anxiety. Yeah. I don't mind cooking at home, but I would hate to be a chef at a restaurant or even work in a restaurant.
I've never cooked ratatouille.
I've not cooked it, but I've ate it once. It was
I've ate
actually
it
pretty
before.
good. It was pretty good. I liked it.
Would you have tried Robbie's ratatouille?
I mean, if I didn't know a rat was cooking it and then it was as good as it was, I would have probably been like, oh, okay.
To be swear, I swear when Skinner's in disguise pretending to be the customer, he ends up liking the ratatouille as well.
He does, because he sees Ego eat it and his reaction, so then he tries it and he has a reaction of like, oh my god, that's good. Because he was gonna use Remy to cook anyways. He's gonna create his own line of frozen foods because, you know, when the whole thing comes out that Linguini is Gusto's son, they cancel all those frozen foods that he was using in Gusto's name.
I just don't understand why you want to give up a gourmet restaurant to make crappy frozen ready meals.
Money. I mean, why do we franchise and spin off and reboot things?
Money.
Exactly. Money, money, money.
Could you see this as an allegory for filmmaking?
Oh, I totally. I mean, I just said this movie is about, you know, about art, about creating art and making art, and, you know, the difference between an artist that's in it for the passion and love of the art and someone who's in it to make a buck.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And do you think this was worthy of Best Animated Film?
Totally worth the win. Persepolis is definitely a masterpiece. I would not have been mad if that had won. But I mean, Pixar's got a name, and I wonder how many Academy members had even watched Persepolis at the time.
Well, none of their kids did anyway.
Well, that's not really a kids movie, is it? I mean,
Exactly. It just, I was watching a YouTube video and I found out that some of the Academy voters vote on their kids' favourite films when it comes to animated films.
that would explain a lot of times why certain films win over something that probably should have won. But in this case, I don't know. It's kind of a 50-50 shot. I think they're both amazing films. So I don't feel like one was shortchanged, even though it could have brought more attention because it's a film from another country and it's from people of color and it's a more topical issue. But
Is it bad that Sean Penn and Iggy Pop do the English dubbing? Because I think they're both good in the for Persepolis. They did English dubbing, Iggy Pop and Sean Penn.
I mean, that's a debate for someone better suited to argue that. I don't think I really could have an opinion on that. I mean, I know that's been an issue here recently, like even with English dubs, like making sure you cast actors of the ethnicity that the characters are. But that was 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
It wasn't fully represented yet, and it should have been. But I think if they did it now, they should find actors of Middle Eastern, because there's plenty of American Middle.
Yeah, he can speak English. Yeah. Yeah, same
Could
with,
do it.
so you think anime should be done by Japanese actors who can speak English?
Especially if the characters are supposed to be Japanese or Asian.
Oh, it makes sense to Kiki because it's set in Sweden.
Yeah, that one. But also, you know, that was Disney, and if you watch the Ghibli version of dubs, you can kind of tell like who were the popular actors at the time, sometimes by who they choose.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Christian Bale voiced Howl.
Yeah, like in Nausicaa, you can tell it was around the time that Allison, what's her name? Allison Lohman was in a lot of movies.
The girl from Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah. And Shia LaBeouf was voicing a character because Kristen Dunst is Kiki, because that's like one of the first dubs Disney did.
Was that when she was getting quite big?
Yeah, this was like before Spider-Man. This is around the Small Soldiers, Bring It On era.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you could say that most of the voice actors in Ratatouille should be French.
You could argue that. You could argue why didn't they just get some French actors to do it? I mean, I guess Patton Oswalt as a rat's fine because he's a rat. Doesn't need to be a French rat. But yeah, you definitely could have. But
Will Arnett's from Canada, so he's voicing a German, but he's from Canada, so he might be able to get away with it.
I guess, yeah, because part of Canada is also part of French, so I don't know which part of Canada he's from, but they'll probably give him a pass.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have, but like I said, I think Janine Garofalo and Ian Holm especially do a great job. And if you notice, Linguini does not have a French accent.
I always think he's Italian.
Because his name's Linguini?
Yeah.
Well, he also doesn't have an Italian accent either. He's just
I know, but
probably...
Romero sounds like a very Italian name.
But, you know, they could have probably got someone besides Brad Garrett, even though he's a good voice actor, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but he's more suited to the Bug in Bug's Life and the puffer fish in Finding Nemo.
I think he also does a
All good
Porco Rosso voice.
kind of side character. Yeah, he's better playing those kind of characters. Yeah. So, what would you rate Ratatouille?
What are we rating? What's our rating?
Just out of 5.
Oh, it's a 5-star film for me. It's a perfect warm blanket of comfort and love and joy of art and food. I love this movie. And I love Patton Oswalt. He's one of my favorite comedians. So I think this is a perfect role for him.
Definitely. He's got a good voice.
He does.
I would like to see him in the Mario universe as well.
Oh yeah, he'd be great in anything you put him in. And I pretty much like anytime he pops up in something, especially in voice work.
Yes, and the same with Will Arnett as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it does have a very talented cast and some beautiful visuals and a really good story. So I'll do the same as you. 5 stars. Yes. And that's where I'm going to end the show today, Cody. It's been lovely to have you on the show today.
Of course. It's lovely to talk with you. It's lovely to talk about this lovely movie. And look forward to talking more movies with you.
Oh, definitely. Hopefully, yeah. So we had Josh last time talking about Into the Spider-Verse. Do you like that one?
Oh, I friggin' love Into the Spider-Verse. It's another 5-star movie for me. I think it's one of my most watched movies on Letterboxd since I've been logging movies on Letterboxd, and definitely deserved its Academy Award for Best Animated Film. Probably my second favorite Spider-Man movie.
Did it deserve its Fleming for Best Film?
Oh yeah, I could see it being the best film of 2018. Oh, there's a few more maybe I would say, but it definitely is a great movie.
Nice. Excellent. Well, thank you all for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this, if you're listening to it on Spotify, and make sure you come back next time. Thank you very much for coming on, Cody, and we'll see you.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Bye.